Hey there everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's both eerie and intriguing: the types of monsters that emerged after the explosion of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. It's hard to believe that a disaster like this could give rise to such fascinating folklore and urban legends. So let's explore what really went down at Chernobyl and the strange creatures and stories that followed. Grab your popcorn, because this is going to be a wild ride. On April 26, 1986, the world faced one of the worst nuclear disasters in history. The Chernobyl power plant in Ukraine was operating at full throttle when, due to a flawed reactor design and human error, it exploded. The blast released a massive amount of radioactive material into the environment, affecting not just nearby towns, but even reaching distant countries. In the immediate aftermath, thousands of people were evacuated from the surrounding areas, and entire cities were abandoned. Imagine living in a place one moment and then having to leave everything behind. But it wasn't just the physical remnants of this disaster left behind. The psychological toll and the fear of radiation fueled a whole new world of monsters that began to emerge in people's minds and stories. Now, let's talk about some real-life monsters. No, not the scary movie kind, but rather the creatures and mutations that came about in Chernobyl's eerie environment. After the disaster, scientists noted that some of the wildlife in the Chernobyl exclusion zone began to show strange mutations. We're talking about three-eyed frogs, extra-limbed critters, and even plants that looked, well, unnatural. These mutations were due to the radiation affecting their DNA. Some species like wolves and wild boar have made a surprising comeback, thriving in this largely human-free zone. It's like nature found a way to adapt, but with some pretty bizarre side effects. And it's not just the animals, the human psyche took a hit too. The fears and uncertainty surrounding radiation led to a surge of urban legends. People started telling stories of creatures lurking in the radioactive wilds, giving a voice to their fears and anxieties. Speaking of urban legends, let's dive into some of the popular stories that came out of the Chernobyl disaster. One of the most intriguing legends is that of the Red Forest. This area, once lush and green, turned a haunting shade of red after being heavily contaminated. Locals said it looked beautiful but sinister, and stories of strange happenings in that forest spread like wildfire. Then there's the eerie tale of the Black Bird, or the ghostly spirit of Chernobyl. Some claim this spectral being wanders the grounds, a manifestation of the grief and fear associated with the disaster. These stories helped people cope with the deep trauma that occurred and allowed them to express their feelings about loss and dread in a relatable way. And let's not forget how Chernobyl has inspired a ton of fictional representations in movies and video games. Films like Chernobyl Diaries and the gripping horror series Chernobyl have brought the terrifying legacy of the disaster to the big screen. These movies showcase not just the physical dangers but also the psychological horrors. The monsters in these films often symbolize our deepest fears regarding technology, nature, and the unknown. Video games, too, have embraced the ghostly allure of Chernobyl. Titles like St. Alkir and Chernobylite immerse players in a post-apocalyptic world filled with mutated enemies and eerie environments. These games allow players to confront the monsters of Chernobyl in an interactive way, blending the real-life horror with thrilling entertainment. So there you have it. The aftermath of the Chernobyl disaster was definitely haunting, leading to a mix of real and imagined monsters that still capture our interest today. It's fascinating how a tragic event can spiral into stories and legends that reflect our fears and hopes. What are you thinking? Do you believe the stories about the creatures and ghosts of Chernobyl, or do you think they're just products of a vivid imagination? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into weird and wonderful topics. Until next time, stay curious.